Lighting is one of the most important parts of filmmaking. It helps setting the mood and atmosphere of a shot. So I realized it was time to build my own light. This is how I usually light my shots. I close the window to block all the natural light, and then I use whatever I have in hand to light the shot. I've been holding a computer monitor for a while, and I think this is the right time to use it. Monitors and TVs are very efficient dissipating light. I just needed to dismantle it to get all those layers out. The first layer is the LCD screen, the one that shows all the images. I was gonna save the LCD for another project, but I broke it by accident. Anyways, I needed to take all the layers out to see how much space I had to install LEDs. This monitor was using these CFTs. They are kind of dangerous because they have mercury inside. Good news is, there was enough space for an LED strip. I searched for a daylight LED strip with a high CRI to simulate natural sunlight. After measuring the length of the monitor, I cut 2 strips of 40 cm each. Then I cut 2 wires so I could connect both strips in series. Now that everything is ready, here comes the soldering. The only thing I needed to do was soldering positive to positive and negative to negative to make them a continuous strip again. Then I put some heat shrink tube to cover all the connections to avoid any short circuits with the metal of the frame. And the good part is, gluing them to a big metallic surface would help dissipating heat. Everything was looking good, so I started adding the layers back. The first layer was this acrylic with dots that spread the light evenly. Then there is a layer that softens the light. And there is this lens that makes the light come from far away. Let me explain how I understand it. When the light source is close, light rays hit objects from different angles, making the shadows to have different sizes. When the light source is far away, light rays are almost parallel, making the shadows more even. This is how the Fresnel layer focuses the light forward and make it seem like coming from far away. Then the last layer was another diffuser that blurs the light. With all the layers back in place, I started assembling the frame back again. But then I realized I put the wire on the wrong side of the frame. Let me fix it. This is done, so now I can focus on powering this light. I searched for a high-speed dimmer to make sure there is never flickering when filming. I decided to use this back panel that came with the monitor to hide all my electronics. Then I drilled a bigger hole to fit the dimmer in it. For feeding power to the dimmer, I got a nice metallic DC socket. I needed to cut a hole for it, so I used these pliers. But I realized that was a stupid idea and I just cut through with a saw. I didn't have a washer of the side I needed, but I found this thing that I don't know what it is, but it fits perfectly. Then I soldered the DC socket to the dimmer's input and the LEDs to the output. And with that, I can already move to the next part. found this microphone stand long time ago. I disassembled all the parts to check if something needed repair and also to give it a little bit of a cleaning. All the tubes had these dark dots all over, so I got some fine steel wool and tried cleaning it. It didn't work out as I expected, so after some research I found that aluminum foil and water can help give chrome pipes the polished shine I was looking for, and this time it worked great. The joint holding the legs in place also needed some cleaning, and since it's aluminum I decided to just sand it until it has a nice finish. After assembling it, the idea was connecting this stand to the light using this VISA adapter. I kept the VISA connection from the monitor on purpose, so I only needed to screw in everything in place. But when I put everything together, I realized the monitor was too heavy for the mic stand to hold it. So I just got rid of the top part of the stand so the light is always held vertical. Sometimes I want the light to be focused on what I'm doing and not to spill out to the wall. So I built a grid out of black cardboard paper. Grids take up a small footprint and I don't have too much space in the room. I cut 5 cm strips and glued them together. I made some halfway cuts on them to interlace them together, forming a grid. Then I glued the grid to the frame and let everything dry well before trying it on the light. I think it does a good job avoiding the light to spill to the wall, so it was a success. Everything looked good so far, but this red light was annoying me. I knew it was just a little detail, so of course I'm not gonna fix it. I really like how it ended up, and now I can light shots more consciously. I hope you enjoyed watching the building process, and I will leave you with some nice shots. Bye!